Good morning, friends. I hope all of you are having a phenomenal Monday. It's Monday, January 30th, 9:47 a.m. Per usual. I only come on when I have things that I think really matter in terms of scope and framework and actionable things that make sense for businesses, companies, and brands. So let's talk really quick. About a year and a half ago, I did a talk at the IFA convention where I talked about marketing tools and AI trends. And my belief system has been, continues to be, that there will always kind of be a human element of any type of AI or automation that you're going to do. So if you're going to start a company or brand and you're using Chat GPT, here's the thing. We've already seen a significant amount of companies and brands use Chat GPT in a terrible way, meaning multiple guru marketers, same landing pages, same copy, it's super generic. So, things to consider as you're playing with AI tools. My entire kind of talk that I did last year was basically the human intelligence, how you apply questions are really going to be the differentiators and how you're successful. So part of this process, when I was trying to come up with what I saw was coming, was that a lot of people freaked out about the idea that the machines were taking over their jobs. And so again, when we look at like the marketing industry, 61%, this was in 2022 at the beginning, of marketers said that AI was going to be one of the most important aspects of their data strategy. 80% of business and tech leaders said, yep, it's already boosting productivity. And what we saw was like 97% of mobile users were already using AI-powered voice assistants. And so what we know is that there's around a 30 to 53% economic benefit when leveraged really well. Here's the challenge with that. There are any number of people right now that are on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and they're all kind of talking about, here's the best way to use Chat GPT. And what they're doing is they're asking questions like, give me ideas about blog posts for unsubscribing from emails. Well, that's going to be a crappy query. So it's going to spit that out. Now, how many other people are spitting out those really basic queries? So when you start to use and leverage these tools, start looking up different marketing models and frameworks. So for example, using the 7Ps marketing matrix, assign a different strategy for how I would approach educating an audience about unsubscribing from emails, right? So all we're doing is asking better questions, and you can use what's called the STP marketing model. Again, applying these different marketing models and frameworks that have been taught since the 50s till now, and overlaying a great question and query is going to get you a really specified and great response. But what most people are doing is they're like, create this, do that. They're treating it not like they're having a conversation. So if you're going to leverage an AI tool, what you need to remember is it doesn't know your story, your brand story, your history. So allow it to create the content and then augment that content. So there's smart copy, there's Quillbot, there's all kinds of other tools that you can use. But if you're going to go into it and ask terrible questions, understand that your data and what it spits out is just going to be crap. So what we've seen, right, and I won't name names, but there was 4 big industry marketers all using really basic query sets. And you could tell because the landing page reflected no top level information. It was not clean. And when I started looking at the patterns, I just realized, okay, they have entry level people. They're not asking the right types of queries. Great example would be like Porter's 5 forces. When we ask about it, people go like, well, what is that? And it's just outside influences that affect your profitability. So you can say, hey, I want to focus my product on X using Porter's 5 forces. Let me know how I could best use this product in the market to X, Y, and Z. And so it's going to tell you supplier power and buyer power and the threat of substitution and new entries into new product entries. And it's going to talk to you a little bit more about specific positioning. So that's how you leverage that tool, as opposed to like, give me a marketing strategy for a real estate company. How many hundreds of thousands of realtors are going into ChatGPT doing that? So you have to ask better questions. And I don't think a lot of people are trained in inquiry in that way. So number one, if you're going to use an AI tool, make sure you're asking the right question. Make sure you keep asking second level questions. So for example, whenever it spits back something, we'll say, hey, rewrite this as though it was for a 6th grade level, rewrite this for a college level. So when you're making messaging for audiences, really take the time to look at fluency. And the reason I bring this up is I think when we start looking at all of the um, things that are entering the market. People are talking about Chat GPT, but there's at least 200 other really great AI-based tools that are leveraging the same technology. So I think what we really need to spend time on is, what are the questions that matter most to you and your business that you're stuck at right now? What are the types of questions you can be asking? And then how do you take the responses and customize those responses to your business or brand? Because most people, again, are not doing the right customization. They're just taking the copy and pasting it in. They already have plagiarism detectors that are looking if AI has written something for you. So again, I would say definitely leverage it, but leverage it like a really smart best friend, and then make sure that you're adding the correct copy. I think the over reliance on AI tools, like mediocre copy, is never going to become phenomenal copy. It's just going to be mediocre copy. So I had a lot of copywriters that were asking for my, hey, like, do you think that this is going to affect our jobs and how we do things? And I go, yes and no. I think there's going to be a huge wave of massive adoption of all these tools until people start seeing all the sameness and then go, wait a minute, we need differentiators, we need pattern interrupts. So, for what it's worth, take a look at people that you follow in the industry, take a look at their websites or their copy or their emails, and try and figure out like what stuff is the same. Because that's how we figured out that 4 people were doing the exact same thing, was that we did a kind of an analysis and we went, okay, they're asking the same questions. And so if you want to be part of the haystack, definitely do that. If you want to be a needle in the haystack, I would focus on, how do we ask a better question and what are the deeper level questions? So if you're asking a tool, hey, create a social media plan for a small coffee shop in a local neighborhood, right? Then you would say, hey, after creating this, who is the best target audience based on X, Y, and Z? So you just start having really deep level conversations. You're going to get a better query. And the whole reason I jumped on to share about this is that what I worry for some people is they believe that the AI is going to replace the human intelligence. And I think we have to remember that there's a lot of things that are affecting the AI responses, including bias, right? Including, kind of design flaws around how queries are made. So if you've never studied any of these things and you're trying to figure them out and you're going like, hey, I'm not getting the right thing, there's a lot of, you just have to have an understanding that technology inherently is going to be biased. And, I joke, like, I'm a recovering wannabe engineer, right? That's what I went to school for. And the reason I think we see so much of this is women are not interested in being engineers. Some are, but, as someone that was formerly in engineering classes, at one point, it's like 75 men to one woman. And you're just like, no one has social skills. It's not my job to train these people on how to be human. But I think there's an understanding that there's going to be bias in whatever these tools and platforms are that you're using. So again, just jumping on, when I did that talk in 2022, I had an understanding that there was going to be, I don't want to call it a disruption, but just a dynamic change, right? The behavior that we have is still inherently the same. So I want to be really clear about that. Consumption, buying, and what's really interesting is if we look at something like de-influencing, which is a trend that's happening right now, which is a bunch of people saying, you don't need it, you don't need it. I'm the first person to admit, like, I am like 90% of the last purchases that I made were all on TikTok. They were things that I saw. And I think it's going to be this interesting shift to quality content, quality copy, quality messaging, phenomenal positioning for brands that is not the sameness that these AI tools are spitting out. So for what it's worth, I think if you're worried that oh my gosh, like, leverage the AI for the productiveness. I mean, the reality is sometimes as creatives, you're stuck and you're in a room trying to figure out something and you need something to give you like a boost. Definitely use it for brainstorming. Again, use it like your friend in the cubicle next door. Like, maybe it's the smartest person for what it's worth. And remember that, human intelligence is a huge part of this discussion, and learning how to write and ask the right questions. So for what it's worth, hopefully you got something out of that. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will talk to you later. Bye.